Okay, so in this video I'm just going to go over some of the important changes to the game that the randomizer will introduce. So these are all detailed in the manual that comes in the program, but I'll just give some examples anyway. So firstly, just the songs act the same as the items. That just means that when you get a song, it'll be something that Link holds up over his head instead of like playing the little cutscene and animation for getting the song. And that was really just done because of the option to mix the songs with the items. I want them to behave in the same way, so that it was easier to do that. Secondly, the razor sword will be a permanent item now, and it doesn't break. So I'll just show that in the game, like playing Song of Time and still have the razor sword. On this file I already have the gilded sword, so I'll just have to use a cheat. And then if I play Song of Time and reset, then I'll still have the razor sword, and it won't break either. So there we go, still have that sword. Okay, let's have a look at the other changes. So the next one is business scrubs will not relocate, which is to prevent locking out of trade rewards. Because what happened in the old randomizer is that if you give one of the items to a business scrub, then they'll fly away and go to the next spot. Which means you won't be able to talk to them properly because there'll be two of them in the same area. So if I quickly go down to the swamp, I'll show what I mean. So you get the item and it'll play this cutscene, but if I were to leave the area and come back, then this business scrub will still be in the same spot. So you can see that the business scrub is back now. So the thing about the songs acting like items, that's just what I mean. So the way you get Go On Lullaby in this is different as well. So I need to go to Snowhead. Right, so the way that you get Go On Lullaby in this version, like it says on here, is that you only have to speak to the eldest son. You don't actually have to get the lullaby intro, so you literally just walk up here. So now I'm going to show how the mountain smithy is different. So in this version, it's not required to give your sword away. So what happens is that on day 1, you can just buy an item for 100 rupees, and then you'll have to come back on day 2 to get the item. So in this case, I got the Goron Lullaby, which is interesting. And then again on day 2, he'll just ask you for gold dust. And then again come back on day 3. So that's something that's important to keep in mind, because you won't be able to just go in on day 2 and spend 100 rupees, because day 2 will always ask you for gold dust on this version, and day 1 will always ask you for 100 rupees. Now the next thing that I've got written down is that restriction on your health is lifted for Pohut and Secret Shrine. So you can go and do those at any time. For Secret Shrine, as long as you have light arrows, you can go in there and you can get all of the chests. And then deposit required for Bank Heart Piece is 1000 rupees, so I can show that now as well. There, so you've already saved up 1000 rupees. Here is the Song of Soaring. So those are just like some of the changes that might be important to remember if you're playing this. Okay, and some other things that I want to show in this video. I have added some features since the last video. So as of now, you can actually make your own logic. So I'll just open my test file, and it shows all of the requirements and conditions for all of the items. This is actually the glitchless logic that the program uses normally that I'm showing. And like, you can just go in and edit any of this. So let's pretend Bremen Mask requires like all of this stuff. Why not? So you can just add whatever requirements you want, and conditional stuff as well. And like doing that, you can make your own logic entirely and get the program to use it. So if you are probably better, you can make your low percent logic that you wanted, that I'm not going to make. And then you can like, if you press new, it'll just clear everything. And you can save and load your logic. And then in the program, if you select user logic, then you can open your logic file and it will use that when it does the randomization. You can also use your own item list now, where you can choose exactly what items you want to be included. So you can just say all of these all of the masks, I don't know, maybe all of the dungeon items as well, and then just all of those items will be used in the randomization. So that's quite useful because you can just get rid of all the rubbish items. And you'll get a little code at the bottom which you can copy and paste. So if you want to keep the settings, you can just copy that and paste it in again next time you play. Probably a good thing to note that it doesn't change these settings, so you will actually have to keep in mind that this is separate. The same thing with the logic, because it's only one setting in the program to pick your own logic, so it's obviously not taken into account in the settings. But those are the new things that I added. I've also updated the enemy randomizer, so it shouldn't be broken. It's far from perfect, because it's still most definitely a work in progress. But enemy randomizer is quite a difficult thing to make, so that's not going to be fully working anytime soon. Which I don't really mind, as long as it's at least usable. One thing that I do need to update is just excluding some enemies from certain areas. So I went through Woodfall earlier, and I'll have to exclude Mad Scrubs from Woodfall actually, because if you only have the Deku Mask, you're not going to be able to get across the flowers, because there won't be any flowers. Just things like that that need to be considered. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. It was just supposed to be a quick thing to show some things you'll need to consider when you play this, because it is slightly different than the normal game. So I hope I managed to show that off adequately.